The Red Dead Redemption franchise has captivated gamers with its immersive open world settings, compelling narratives, and memorable characters. Arguably the most memorable cast of characters ever made in a video game. And following the critically acclaimed Red Dead Redemption 2, fans are eager to know what lies ahead for the franchise. Will the developers choose to delve into the past, exploring the origins of the beloved Vanderlyn gang, delving deeper into characters like Dutch and Arthur and John, as well as Hosea when they were much younger? Or will they introduce new characters and new narratives and a whole new direction, possibly exploring the path of maybe Sadie and Charles after the end of what happened to the gang? In this video, I aim to discuss the potential directions the Red Dead Redemption franchise could take in its future installments. Now, when it comes to expanding the lore, one possible avenue for the franchise is to delve deeper into the existing lore, offering players a chance to witness pivotal moments from the past, going back in time to before the Blackwater Massacre, a significant event which was alluded to in Red Dead Redemption 2 would allow players to experience the gang's heyday and witness the dynamics between the characters like Dutch and Arthur before we got into the section of Red Dead Redemption 2. And I feel like this approach would provide a fresh perspective while also enriching the overall narrative. So in a sense, Rockstar would be able to bring back some of the old cast. They wouldn't really have to introduce to us a lot of new characters. And they could essentially just go back in time a little bit more. So we see the events before Davy dies, before the gang had to flee after the Blackwater Massacre. We get to see what Dutch was like in his younger days. A younger Micah, a younger Arthur, a younger John. And we see maybe some of the tales of how everyone got together in the gang, maybe before they'd met up with Charles, before Javier had joined the gang, and so forth. So we'd be able to basically explore those stories, and they could still use the old Western style avenue of the game. Alternatively, the franchise could explore a whole new set of characters, a whole new set of stories set within the same expansive world. And I feel like this approach would open up the possibility for fresh narratives that exist parallel to the events of the previous games. So it would still be in the same timeline that we had Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Redemption 1, but we would be following not the Vanderlyn gang. We would be following a whole new cast, a whole new set of characters, maybe from a different perspective. For example, like we saw the perspective of the Native Americans through Charles's eyes, and that sort of thing. And I feel like by introducing new protagonists, the players could experience the Wild Wild West through different perspectives. So this would allow Rockstar to take maybe a diverse storytelling approach and maybe just give us whole new gameplay without necessarily damaging what they already did with the existing franchise or expanding on, a story that they've already essentially told. Because the whole point of Red Dead Redemption is that the eventual redemption happens. So within Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a prequel, we see what led to the events of Red Dead Redemption 1. So essentially, the story has technically ended. So I think personally, I can only see them either going back in time or exploring new characters, new storytelling. Or we could maybe showcase through the lenses of, Sadie, or the lens of Charles, that kind of thing. Characters that are already beloved in the universe. And although Red Dead Redemption 2 showcased the latter stages of Dutch and Arthur's lives, again, a prequel focusing on their younger days could be a compelling direction for the franchise. And I feel like such a game would shed light on the motivations of how Dutch became who he was. We would then be able to see the formation of the gang. So essentially we would maybe see how Dutch ended up recruiting everyone in the gang, and they get added to the story, as the story goes on. And then we see the events that shaped all of their identities for them to eventually become the Vanderlyn gang. And I feel like players would have the opportunity to witness the development and gain a deeper understanding of the characters they grew to love in previous games. And this is something they already did with Red Dead Redemption 2. We got to see John's backstory, because again, with Red Dead Redemption, we only saw the end of John. We saw what John had become. But in Red Dead Redemption 2, we got to see a younger John. He wasn't that much younger, but we got to see an earlier version of John, seeing John sort of being fearful to raise Jack. He was still a bit of a, some would say a coward, but he eventually manned up with what happened in the events of Red Dead Redemption 2, and we saw him eventually become the father and the man that he needed to become to be able to take care of Jack and Abigail. And then, as I was mentioning, characters like Sadie and Charles, who played significant roles in Red Dead Redemption 2, they left a lasting impression on players, and their fate was left somewhat open-ended. So with that potential, we could continue those stories, because all we know with Sadie is that she ended up becoming a bounty hunter, like we saw in the epilogue, and then she went on her way, and she just vanished into the ether. And then Charles ended up leaving and going to Canada, so there's also a potential story there to be had. And I feel like a future installment in the franchise could bring back Sadie and Charles as playable characters, maybe allowing players to explore their individual narratives and potentially weave their stories together. And then the final avenue, which would have been expanding the world. Now, I feel like the world could also be expanded beyond the American frontier, right? Because Red Dead Redemption's evocative setting showcased the end of an era. But, although it's a Western, future installments could still venture into new territories, exploring different regions, or, even taking players beyond the US to be able to go to maybe other countries, other locations, maybe be based in South America, that kind of thing. So this expansion would not only offer fresh landscapes, but also introduce, diverse cultures, conflicts, and storylines, providing players with a wider range of experiences within the Red Dead universe. Which could be an interesting take. It's not an angle that I think they would do, but it could be something that could definitely be done. Kind of like how people were always clamoring for Assassin's Creed based in Japan, to be able to see the feudal side of Japan. And we ended up getting that, but not through Assassin's Creed. We ended up getting that through Ghost of Tsushima. So there is, a potential angle that Rockstar could take with that. But again, because the whole Red Dead universe is mainly a Western, I don't see them venturing maybe outside of that. So it will be interesting to see how they eventually go for it. Again, let me know in the comments, which direction would you personally want them to go? Which direction would you take it if you were in control of this franchise? Knowing also as well that some of the writers that worked on Red Dead Redemption 2 ended up leaving Rockstar. So it would be mostly the same team that worked on RDR1 and RDR2, but it would be missing some of the key writers that eventually left the studio. So it'll be interesting to see how they go with the franchise. Again, let me know in the comments. What would you do? Where do you want them to go? Do you want them to continue the story? Maybe go back in time with a younger Dutch? That's the theory that I'm personally leaning into, is giving us the young Arthur, young Dutch, young Hosea, and then seeing the formation of the gang, and then maybe ending the game at the Blackwater Massacre. Who knows? But as always, I think the future of the Red Dead Redemption franchise holds immense potential. Whether the developers choose to delve into the past, fans can anticipate an exciting continuation of the franchise. The possibilities are technically endless, ranging from prequels that shed light onto pivotal events, or bringing in a whole new cast of protagonists. And whatever direction the franchise takes, I think it'll captivate players regardless, with its rich storytelling, breathtaking landscapes, and unforgettable characters. making the wait for the next Red Dead Redemption installment an eagerly anticipated one. As always, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay dangerous, stay blessed, and peace out, my good people.
How about you, sir? Will you help?
Anyway.
Hey,
Hello,
mister.
sir.
You get a lot of money doing this?
Not much, but it's the trying that counts.
If you say so.
Well, I do. Who do you help?
I'll help you learn to keep your mouth closed.
Sorry, sir. Let's try and help each other.
Right there.
Shit!
Imagine having to put down your own brother.
Oh my god.
Oh. Died last time. Come on, let's go. Woo. Let's go. It's those father-son moments again. Oh, but now Freya's here as well.
That if you just build great games, everything would turn around.
And then the great games point is the one that I wanted to argue against heavily, because what is the point of your console if it's not for games? Like, what is the point of having a console if you're just going to do Game Pass and cloud gaming? Like,